It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Kevin Carr.
And this is
It's Movie Time.
All right, Kevin, there's word that Ken Loach this is his last film.
Okay.
It's called Jimmy's Hall.
Yeah.
So let's get on it because before the guy just bails out of everything. Because you know he's good in his social business, and particularly in Ireland. He's very, he's always done a credible job. What was it, the barley, the wind?
Oh yeah, the wind, the bar, yeah. Well, but is this going to be like a Cher farewell tour where you have 7 or 8 of them before actually?
I don't know, but it is called Jimmy's Hall. And Kevin, what did you think of it?
Well, first of all, it's a movie. It's a historical film. It's a period piece, and it's about a guy who comes back to Ireland after the Depression, or during the Depression, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he was in New York, and he is trying to build a community center.
1932, because in 22, when they were having their real struggle with Great Britain, and then they made that troublesome pact.
Yes.
He left. He was forced. He had built his dance hall, and he was forced out.
Yeah.
Don't think he was deported then. He just simply was
exiled.
exiled.
He was returning home.
And then he came 10 years later, 1932, which is what we're talking about. And I'll be darned if he doesn't build that thing again.
Well, and what's interesting is, and I this is a very Luddite way of approaching it, but if you look at the poster just doesn't grab you.
No, I know. Is it he and she together?
Yeah, it's two. It looks like a Hallmark movie. It really looks like something you'd see on the Hallmark channel.
Kevin, these two people in love never kiss in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of unusual and not bad.
Yeah. Well, it's different. It's different. And it is different. But with it looking like that in the marketing, the movie is not at all like that. It's very beautifully shot.
Yes.
It's very professionally done. Yeah. It's very even. It doesn't have that it's well written for, it's about a community hall. I mean, it's
right.
When you read just what the blurb is, you're like, well, that just sounds boring. But it's not. I mean, it's because there's all of this Irish politics that us stupid Americans don't know, really. Most of us don't know the.
But you know what we do know? The politics of the Catholic Church.
That's true.
This boy knows.
Yes.
And there are some moments in this film. I mean, the real antagonist of Jimmy. Is the Catholic Church, and particularly in one priest, the local pastor priest, who is just played by Jim Norton, and it's Father Sheridan, I think. And my gosh, he is good. And when those two guys get together, go head to head, I love it.
Well, it's not just him, because he's got a little bit more to his character. The real the heavy is one of the villagers, just the
that's
older,
right, the one who beats his child.
Yeah, and he's even worse because there's a lot more going on in the priest. And this is what I actually found interesting for a movie like this. It's not anti-Catholic. It's not anti-church. It's about it's like Fiddler on the Roof. It's tradition versus progression, and that's really what it is. And even in the Catholic Church, you have another a priest in the parish or in the area who's like, this.
Well, the young priest is the progressive.
And progressive, and they throw words around like communist, which is what
I know
they would throw around back then.
Yeah,
but you say that nowadays, and you can't say that nowadays and go, oh, that's just a communist.
You're right. That's what the pastor had accused Jimmy of being a communist, when in fact, really all he wanted to do was provide for the working class and for the poor a place to enjoy and dance and learn. I mean, they had books for them. They had lectures. Really a pretty cool operation. But the Catholic Church, that side of the Catholic Church, does not like competition for the souls of its parishioners.
Well, it's taking a very isolated.
Yes.
And that's what you get in anything. You have an isolated, old-fashioned, traditional area, and you introduce it to the ways of the greater world, because he's seen as, he's this guy who's coming from New York, and he's bringing all these terrible traditions like jazz.
Oh, he's bringing the little Victrola. I love that when they play for them, introducing some. And then we find Father sitting in his room listening to it.
Oh, yeah.
Though he
Oh,
has
yeah.
deplored the new dance, but he's listening to it himself. So there's nice. You're right, and I really like the way the many facets we have of the priest and of Jimmy. Unfortunately, not enough of everybody else, but it's a small film.
Well, you can't do this
can't.
like. I mean, it's not like a novel where you can just deal with tons and tons of different people. But that's what I thought was neat about it, and it brings the politics of small town 1932 Ireland into a very realistic context, because you got this in the 50s with beatniks and just hot rods, kids, and all those juvenile delinquent movies. You had in the 60s with the Flower Children. You had in the 70s, 80s. Every generation has its own group that's pushing against the tradition.
Their rebellion.
Yeah.
And
that's what this is. And I thought they did a good job without pointing it out and going, these are just like just like the hipsters of 1932. But it presents it that way, and you can look at it with the context of your own.
Yeah. Now there is some speechifying.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there always is. To let that point out of the two sides, and I think even more than the church is the local government that is oppressing them or stopping them from expressing themselves, and that's what I really like. It's certainly applicable, and Kevin, the class struggle hasn't changed anywhere in the world since then. No. I mean, we've got it worse today. I don't think it will either.
But I'll say this with the speechifying. It was in appropriate contexts, because it's very hard to do that and make it seem natural. But it was easy in this because you have these literally at a pulpit preaching a couple times.
Oh, right.
And they have meetings in the hall, so of course there's chances for people to talk. And so it's not just a guy standing around a group oddly in a pasture saying things. And what I thought was really neat about the traditions of the church is not just the church but of the town is it seemed very organic and it seemed very natural.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like it was forcing anything.
And I agree with you. And I think that's one of the things I really liked about it. There was a natural realism about this. And the fellow who plays Jimmy, do you remember his name?
No.
Adam Brady or something?
I don't off the top of my head, no.
Very romantic guy, I thought. Could be a lead anywhere. And his friend, his girlfriend, who is now married, another one that's really good. I thought that the two, she wasn't an extraordinary beauty, but she was a very attractive woman. And I'll tell you, they have one scene in there, any of the romantics who are listening to our show, watch these two dance by themselves. It's a beautiful, wonderful sequence of love that, again, has no kissing, whatever, but it is a lovely little piece where they're...
It's a real bait and switch, too. Because how they get to the situation, you think it's going to go somewhere else, the way movies
Of course,
are.
oh, yeah.
And it doesn't. It's very... Now, I mean, there's parts of it that run a little slow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And it does... And you get this with historical movies, getting the focus right and getting... having the everything kind of gelled together in a cohesive story, so it feels disjointed at times. But you're dealing with what actually happened.
Oh yeah.
So there's only so much license you can take with it.
And I think like Footloose, which you could superficially compare it to.
It's an Irish version of Footloose.
You're right. When there's dancing, that film takes off, and I think that just what you're talking about, it begins to drag. And then we can get some dancing going, and it's really working.
I think that's great. I never thought of the Footloose connection, but that's actually brilliant. It's
oh God.
It's pre-World War II Irish Footloose.
Well, Kevin, we're at that time when we have to grade. Okay. And I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Simply because I'm not going to allow you to sabotage my grade, which is an A-.
Okay, I'm giving it a B+ because I liked it. It's not, but it's the pacing that got me a little bit, but it's still a great movie.
Yeah, and watch out, you're going to want to dance after you see it.
Yes.